Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Easy Learn. And today's topic is the sine rule. And we're going to be doing some practice today. If you haven't watched my sine rule explanation video yet, pause right here, check the link in the description below, go understand the concept first, and then come back for solving. So today's question is this is a triangle LMO and it says find angle MOL. So MOL is basically this middle angle that they're always talking about. So O is the angle we have to find. Now, keeping in mind that sine rule has two lengths and two angles, and the formula is sine A over A equals sine B over B. So if this is my angle 52, if I'm taking this one as my angle A, then the length that is corresponding to it becomes my small a. And if this is the angle I have to find, and if I take it as my angle B, the capital B, the length that is right opposite to that becomes my small b. So if I write that down, sine 52 over 12 equals sine O, because it's unknown, so I can just keep it as O, sine O divided by 6.5, that's my B. Now, first thing I'm going to do is sine 52 over 12. If you check that out on your calculator, first thing, make sure your calculator is set on degrees, and then sine 52 divided by 12 gives me something like this, 0.065667 and so on. So I could just write 0.065 and 7 equals sine O over 6.5. Now, since I have to find my O, I need to isolate the O. That means everything that is attached with the O goes to the other side. So first thing that goes on the other side is the 6.5. So when 6.5 goes to the other side, since 6.5 is in division with the sign O, it goes to the other side, it turns into multiplication. The opposite basically happens. So 0.0657 times 6.5. So when I do that on my calculator again, so 0.06567 times 6.5 gives me 0.426 and so on. So that means my sine O equals 0.42, let's say 7. Now this sign, again, since I have to find my O, I need to get rid of my sign, and for that I will take my sign to the other side. Now whenever the sign goes to the other side, it turns into something like this, sine minus 1. The sine minus 1 is known as the inverse, and you don't really have to work out what that is and what happens with it. It's just simply there on your calculator. So when I take it to the other side, O equals sine inverse of 0.427. And if I do that on my calculator, first thing, make sure that your calculator is set on degrees. Secondly, you're going to click INV, that is the inverse. The moment you click that, you will see sine minus 1, cos minus 1, tan minus 1. And since we're dealing with the sine rule, we'll use sine minus 1. Once you write that, the calculator on Google will say something like this, arc sine 0.42 and so on. That gives you 25.268, which I'm going to round off to one decimal place. So my O is equal to 25.3 degrees. So this angle right here is 25.3 degrees. So that means part A done. Now part B says find the length LO. So let's get rid of all of that. Now since I know that my angle O was 25.3 and now they're asking find the length LO. So LO is this particular length that they're asking. Let me just name it as X. Now, if they're asking for the x, that is the length of LO, the angle that corresponds or is right opposite to my LO is this angle, that is the M. But as you can see, M is missing. But you can see that I have my 52, I have my 25.3, and you should be knowing that in a triangle, the three angles are always equal to 180 degrees, which means if I add these two angles up and subtract from 180, I'm going to get my angle M. So let me just do that. 180 minus 52 plus 25.3, that gives me, let's see what my answer is, that gives me 102.7 degrees. So my angle M is equal to 102.7 degrees. Now, once I have that, I think it's pretty easy to find out the length x, keeping in mind again my two lengths, two angles, the sine rule, sine A over A equals sine B over B. I can just now simply write down the stuff there. So I can do sine 102.7 over x, because x is the length that corresponds to this angle, equals sine B. Now for that I could take anything. Either I take 25.3 and the length right opposite to that, that's 6.5, or I'm going to take 52 and the length opposite to that, that's 12. So I'm just going to go with 52 and 12 because it's kind of more neat without any decimals. So I'm just going to do sine 52 over 12. Now, when you have a denominator that is missing or unknown, it's just best practice to take it to the other side and form it into a proper single equation so that you just don't get confused in the end. So I'm going to take my x over there and 12 over there. So when 12 goes to the other side, because this 12 is in division with the sine 52, when it's moving to the other side, it turns into multiplication. Similarly, x is in division with 102.7, goes to the other side, turns into multiplication. So I'm just going to write 12 times sine 102.7 is equal to x times sine 52. Now, first thing I'm going to do, 12 times 102.7. Again, make sure that your calculator is set on degrees. If you write 12 times sine 102.7, well and good. If you want to write like that, first the sine and then the multiplied by 12, so make sure that you do not forget to put this close bracket, because if you don't do that, your answer is going to be wrong. So sine 102.7 close bracket times 12 gives me 11.706 and so on. So 11.7064 equals my x sine 52. Now that I have to find my x, I'm going to be taking my sine 52 to the other side. This x is in multiplication with the sine 52. So when it goes to the other side, turns into division. So 11.7064 and so on divided by sine 52. So if I do that, I have something like this. So 11.71 divided by sine 52, which is 14.860 and so on. So I could just round it off to one decimal place, saying that it's 14.9 centimeter. So that means that this length right here, that is LO, is 14.9. So that's pretty much how you find out. Once you have one of the angles, finding the third angle is pretty easy because the sum of all the angles inside a triangle are equal to 180. So you just add up the two angles, subtract from 180, you get your third angle, apply your sine rule again. Just be careful which one you are taking as your capital A and your small a, because if you're taking a capital A, whichever that is, the length right opposite to that is supposed to be the small a. And then that's how you just solve the whole thing. Thank you so much for watching Easy Learn, and if you have any questions, any confusions, just drop them down in the comment section below. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe my channel. Thank you so much for watching.